On Tuesday of Holy Week, Jesus Christ reveals to us the way in which he will be put to death. He said to his disciples that he is going to be crucified on a cross. What does crucified mean? Well, it's a very painful and embarrassing way to punish someone for doing something wrong. Now, Jesus did nothing wrong, of course, but the Jews and the Romans did not like him. They thought that he was going to try to take their power and their money away from them. So they felt very scared of him and very angry with him. So they decided to crucify him. Jesus knew all this. He explained to the disciples that he must be lifted up on the cross so that they may see the glory of God. The disciples didn't understand what that meant just yet. They only knew that to be crucified was painful, scary, and even embarrassing. But Christ wanted to teach the disciples that sometimes things that seem terrible to us are actually going to turn into something that's very good. Sometimes we need to be brave enough to experience things that seem to us to be scary, painful, or even embarrassing. And then we discover that God uses those things for His glory and for our benefit, to help us grow, to help us succeed in our lives, and to build relationships with our families, friends, and neighbors, and even with God Himself. We need to remember this when we're faced with difficult times. Think about a time when you felt so sad, or angry, or scared, or embarrassed. Didn't everything turn out okay at the end? In fact, when we follow God throughout all our lives, we find that He uses all these sad or scary times and changes them into times of joy and celebration. So whenever we see hard times, let us remember that God is the Lord of both the good and the hard, and that He always has a plan to turn everything for good for the sake of His children.